Hello, everybody. It says we're live. I'm gonna double check and make sure that we are actually live because I don't trust it because I had problems this morning. Okay. All right, cool. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. Hi, hello there. Welcome. If you're new, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance on the Hegyes, and I have a co-host with me today. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I write primarily small town romances underneath my whole legal name, Stephanie Marie Woodson. You can find me everywhere, and I am a kind of longtime friend of Skye's, and I'm here to join in on the fun.
Yeah. And for those who aren't aware, we are doing the 7-day book challenge this week. I am streaming twice a day, Monday through Friday, and then I'm doing taking part in the AuthorTube Sweet Treat Stream Crawl on Saturday and Sunday with my usual Saturday stream canceled and moved to Sunday morning, and it's a 3 hour stream, and it's a whole thing.
I am aiming to stream just once a day for the 7-day book challenge, and then I am doing a 3-hour stream, I think, right before your stream on Saturday, and then I am doing the Sunday closing chat thing for the AuthorTube Sweet Treat Stream Crawl. Say that 10 times fast. Or, come on, think of like simpler names to talk about. That's all I'm saying, people. Simpler names.
All right. um, So this morning for my stream, I was just concentrating on journaling and catching up with my journal. I still haven't caught up. I've got 2 days worth of stuff to put in it, mostly because as soon as that stream was over, I set it aside and worked on other things, which was fine. And tonight I'm going to be working on a buck short, which is a once short story, now novella about a young woman who is from a long line of witches, except she herself is not a witch until her mom does an illegal spell that gives her a familiar that's different from the rest of the family and may not be all that it seems to be. So that is what I'm working on tonight. What are you working on?
I am working on a small town romance where it's a new family that comes to town, and the daughter kind of befriends the jerk of the area, and they just change in different ways. And I am writing chapters 13 through 17 or 12 through 17 this week. So I've outlined them all, and so I'm going to just pick a chapter and work on it. Obviously, in order. I can't write out of order. I got to go beginning to end. I can't write out of order. I don't have that in me.
Those people who can write out of order, I have, and then I always forget that I haven't like filled in spots in between. But I also change so much because my brain latches onto something new that's even better that I would have to change what I already wrote anyways. So like, it's not a good idea.
Well, what's funny is I've been calling the book I'm working on now, Lily's book, thinking that's the name of the character. But I submitted a short story that I previously, that my Christmas short story, I submitted it for this anthology for my library writing group. And as I'm reading through it to make sure everything's good to go, I realize there's like this 3 sentence scene where the characters go to the local like Christmas time vendors market, think like Saturday market, but Christmas time.
Hmm.
And the main character's like, "Oh, I don't recognize her," and goes up and talks to her, and she's like, "Oh, uh, you're new to the area." And she goes, "Yeah, I've only been here for a few months. I thought I'd give us a try." And the name of her shop vendor thing is Lily's Candles and More. I'm like, well, I can't have 2 different characters in my world named Lily, so I have now Lily is now Evelyn Sinclair.
Okay,
I came up with it last night
nice.
at the dinner table.
I understand why we don't want characters with the same name, but at the same time, I think it's so much fun because it does happen so much in real life. I think it's so much fun when people are like, "I'm gonna be have this story about." In your case, Lily, and then I've got another Lily in a different part of town. Like, I think that is so much fun. I get why we don't do it. I understand why we don't do it. But it also feels so disingenuous sometimes because of the fact that
You
it
can't
happens so
have.
often in real life.
I went to grade school in the Oregon Coast. Between my grade and the grade above and below me, 9 Stephanies.
I
And
believe it.
then when I went to school in Oregon, my best friend was named Stephanie, and my maiden last name is Dockery. So Stephanie Marie Dockery, and my best friend's name was Stephanie Michelle Siraki. Then we used to work at the same store. Think of like Stephanie Siraki or Stephanie Dockery over the intercom.
Uh-huh.
Like mixed up all the time. So lots of
I went
Stephanies.
to when I was in elementary school. There were 3 Britneys, and every time I've been, except for this particular case, anytime we've had multiple people with the same name, the teachers would always call them by their last name, or differentiate them by their first name and last initial. In this particular case, they
Oh
couldn't
no.
because 2 of the Britneys had their names were spelled differently. So it was one was A, one was one was ANY, one was NEY. They had the same last name, unrelated, but they had the same last name, same spelling. So they were both Brittany Blue. One was Brittany Blue, and one was Brittany Blue. It's pronounced the same way, Brittany. But they couldn't be called Brittany B, and they couldn't be called Blue because they were both Brittany Blues. And it was hilarious how, not you, Brittany, the other Brittany kind of thing.
And then my dad got married to someone years later for his second marriage. She had a daughter named Victoria. Victoria had a 6-year-old daughter named Stephanie. Then my sister-in-law is also named Stephanie.
Oh my googly moogly.
Right? There's just enough.
Let's see. In the chat, we have Beth. Hi, Beth. How are
Yay,
you tonight?
she showed up to my stream last night.
Nice.
And seen her before.
I saw that you were streaming last night, and I was like, I'm going to bed. Good night.
That's all right. I wanted to stick to my one stream a day on my own channel, and so since technically it was part of Monday morning, I met my goal for the day.
You did, yes.
There was no other time I could have done it today. Just it wasn't happening.
You had a busy day today, so it was okay.
It was busy.
So, Beth, what are you working on today? We were just talking about the fact that she had to change the name of the character because of the fact that she already had a Lily in another story, and this takes place in the same world. So we were talking about names and how it feels a little disingenuous not to have characters with the same name because it happens so much in real life. I get why we do it. I don't know. Anyways, all right. We've been chatting for a little bit. It's 10 after. Do you want to do a sprint?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Get my document open and brain prepared to do something.
Real quick, Beth said, I didn't stay long, but I'm trying to be friendly and supportive. So, Margaret said an error occurred.
What error?
Not certain what error.
We need more information. You can't just put that in the chat and like leave it alone. What happened? Did YouTube give you an error? StreamYard or Restream give you an error? Life gave you an error? We need to know.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was an error on Restream. I tried Oh.
What's that?
I've got both the YouTube and Restream itself open. There it goes. My YouTube not working? That's interesting. I haven't had that happen before.
Like YouTube's not working? Or your stream?
I don't know.
Let me see here.
Hi, Margaret, by the way. I did not say that already. Margaret did get their words done, though, so that's good.
Huh. It's working on my end.
Yep, same. I wonder if she's talking about notifications and stuff, though.
Maybe.
I don't know. Let's see. Beth is not writing now, working on what? They're calling Project Sage, which is fantasy with a bit of Medusa. Ooh, I love a Medusa retelling.
That sounds fun.
So, all right, we are going to go ahead and do a sprint. Let me get. We've already got the timer pulled up because Nixie is always with us these days because she's a good little kitty. And I've got my prompts ready to go. If you are new here, we do 4 25-minute prompts or 25-minute sprints. Yeah, we do 25-minute prompts. Uh, can you tell I'm tired for no reason whatsoever? I slept and I took a nap. Maybe that's the problem. I took a nap.
Too
Okay,
much.
I got too much sleep. Anyways, we do 25. Gosh dang it, I cannot talk.
Here, let me track. We do 4 25-minute sprints, and during the sprints, we have a prompt on the screen. The prompt is on the screen if you need something to write about, but you don't have to. Sometimes you need a boost of creativity, and that's what we're here for.
Yes, that.
How's that?
Oh my googly boogly. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, the first prompt for tonight is well, this is where I live. It's not much, but it's home. So, 25 minutes on the clock. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. How'd you do?
Well, I had a heart attack from that cat. We're good. What's funny is I was typing, so I didn't have the screen, right? I was on the window, but I looked, I was like, okay, 44 seconds, we're good. I'm just going to finish up this sentence. And then I felt myself jump and it went off. Um, I thought I was done with chapter 10, and I thought I could start writing chapter 11. But at the end of chapter 10, I had things like, uh, this chapter ends with Evelyn heading out, and it tells me how I want the chapter to end, but it's not the actual ending of the words. It's just like a paraphrase, like, oh, this is how it's going to end, and then I moved on. So now I'm writing the paragraph of what I want to happen to actually happen, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, this chapter ends with Evelyn heading out to meet her sister out front of the house so she can break the news to her instead of mom twisting around. Her mom always has a habit of blowing things out of proportion. It's just gotten worse since the incident. And then they decide to go and have pie instead of going back in the house. So I'm describing what's going to happen at the end of the chapter, but I didn't actually write it out with like proper punctuation and grammar and all that. So
Okay.
kind of like a summary outline. So apparently I did that. I forgot that I had that in there. I thought I was so glad I looked at it. I mean, obviously I would have caught it eventually, at some point.
Someday in the future.
Yeah, that's future problem, not present problem, right? Is that how that goes?
I think
What
so.
you do?
I wrote 788 words and did my session for Duolingo, so got 2 things accomplished.
Oh yeah. I downloaded that onto my phone,
Nice.
and I think I added you as a friend,
Woo!
and that's all I got for Duolingo. Give up.
I have it so it gives me a notification around 9 o'clock every night if I haven't done it yet to go ahead and do my session, because usually that's when I have a free moment to take like 5 seconds to do it if I'm at work already.
Mhm.
However, I keep using up my freezes over the weekends because of the fact that I forget about it, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it later, and then I never do. Oops. Oh.
So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with my outlines of my chapters I have, because typically my chapter outline would be like, this is where they meet for dinner, they kiss, he says something funny, like very bland. This one is like whole, like 300 word summary of a chapter is my next one. Yeah. It's actually what prompted me to want to volunteer at the library, because my character is going to start working at the library. I was like, oh, it'd be fun. And somehow I decided I was going to start volunteering, because like chapter 11 starts with Wednesday. This is the chapter for first day at the library. All the librarian around in the morning as she puts things away, sets up an area of books on display, which they change every few days. And then I go into like a little bit of conversation that the librarian and her have. And then I have another bold print line that says, runs into Shane. This chapter ends when she dashes off down the stairs away from Shane. And then a little paragraph about that. So I'm pretty pleased that I have an actual like paragraph that I can rewrite instead of, what was I trying to say here?
My outlines are usually just bullet points, but for this particular project, I've got actual paragraphs.
Nice. It's
And
easier to be like,
it's it's more detailed, but it also leads me to think that's why this is becoming a novel instead of not a novella instead of a short story. Because already I'm not even halfway through this chapter that I'm working on now, and it's at 788 words. So that's fun.
So when you say short story, what do you think a short story is? Like word length wise?
Anywhere from 20K and below.
Okay.
me, that's a short story.
Yeah.
And 20K to like 50K is novella for me. And then most of my, let me rephrase that. I would say that 20K to about 60K is where novellas fall for me, only because most of my shortest novels are 60K and up. So that's why I do that range. I know that's not typically what's considered a novella, but
Right. So like my very first book was exactly like 50,000 some in like a couple extra words, and I stopped writing at 50,000 mainly because I didn't want to write a long book if nobody's going to read it. Like make all the effort to finish it. So then my second book was like 83,000, and then my third book was 77,000. That was my trilogy based on my own crappy upbringing. But then when I switched to the romance novels, they were. If I got to 50,000, I was impressed with myself. Okay. And the only reason my books are now longer is because when I revamped them, I combined the first two shorter books into one longer novel because essentially they met, and then part two was their life after they met, basically. And so that one was longer. And then my second book is a short story and two novellas into one novel. So that one's longer in itself. But yeah, if I can get 60,000 words, I call it. I'm good. I'm happy. Woohoo! But
Yeah.
usually it's around like 40 to 50,000.
Fair enough.
And I feel like that's okay because like a lot of times like small town romances, most of the ones I actually read myself, they're not super long.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Romance used to be like shorter. Like I grew up with Harlequin romances.
yeah,
So like
right.
I like the shorter romances. And now everything seems to be getting longer and longer. Like I was watching a video where like someone was saying their agent wanted something that was like no less than 100K, and I'm like 100K.
That's like 3 books right there.
I was like, damn. I mean, I'm all for long books, but a romance that's 100K.
That's a lot.
So yeah, that feels like a
So
lot to me. But
did
that
just
being said,
recently read a romance novel that was almost 500 pages, but
yeah,
I didn't feel like it was padded, and I didn't feel like there was enough in there, like enough going on and things that I felt like I didn't feel like they like just were like I want to make a long book or whatever. I didn't feel like it was too wordy. I didn't feel like it could have ended 300 words ago or 300 pages ago. But I'm also a fan of her work, so maybe that's why too. It was the latest book by Lyra Parrish, so
got it.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying that I haven't read longer romances because like one of my favorite romances. I don't know what the word count is, but like the the it's a 400-page book, but it's also a 400-page book of the like mass market paperbacks, not
Oh,
the trade paperbacks, which are bigger. So of course that's gonna have more pages. I don't know what the word count would be that of that though. I'm not
that was
calculating that.
my mistake when I ordered the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I
Uh-huh.
went on Amazon. I was like, oh, I was trying to like get underneath a certain price point. I got 3 of them, and they are the mass market
Oh, I
paperback.
love those.
So they're like it's like
That's heaven to me.
645 pages.
Uh huh. I love a
Um,
good mass market paperback though.
I'm only that far, okay? They have okay, and I know they have an audio version, like an audiobook, but I cannot stand the narrator they chose because it's like a freaking history professor being boring and lecturing about the atom bomb or something. I don't know.
I've got it. I've got it. Clear eyes helps dry eyes. You remember
This
those
is worse.
commercials?
This is worse. Worse. They actually have it's a 24-hour audiobook, and they have it on YouTube, broken up to 3 parts.
Mhm.
My husband finished the book by listening to the audio because he can like listen to the book and read a different book at the same time, and it's totally fine. Like he can listen to Mistborn and read a different book
Mhm.
and absorb both at the same time, or he can like play with. Anyways, I can't. And usually when I read at night. But if I listen to audiobook at night, I'll lay down and then I'm sleeping.
That
Okay.
says my first 2 romance books are about $75K. The one I'm releasing this week is a novella at $25K. Beth, feel free to drop a link. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me change something real quick. Oop.
Beth, are you publishing underneath your first and last name you have on the screen?
You should have wrench power. Feel free to share a link.
We love linky shares.
Yes.
Which means we have more opportunities not to write, but to read instead.
Yep. Let's go procrastinate by reading other people's writing. Yep.
So at the beginning of March, I was like, I really need to read a book, or I need to start writing my book. So then someone suggested like this, like stalker ends up being a polyamory type book series.
Okay.
They were short books, but I devoured like 4 of them in like 2 days. Because I didn't sleep and I just was reading one after another.
I love a good short book. I'm telling you. Beth says yes. They will be published under Beth Kofi.
Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Feel free to share any links you want to share, whether it's the book itself or the Amazon author page. Either one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I found the right one, her name is Beth Kofi, and I think her book title is Brood Awakening, which I think just fits perfectly with her last name. This looks fun. All right. Let's see here. Sis. Oh, I can't type a link into Restream. I have to go over on YouTube, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm not positive. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
I don't know if it'll let you.
All right. Beth, I think
Beth
I found. I think
Beth
I found.
says yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
K-pop spicy romance.
Okay. That's one thing that is different. I can't type directly into Restream.
Okay.
But that's okay.
There are a couple of subtle differences between Restream and StreamYard, and they're similar enough that they work exactly the same for the most part. But those differences are making my brain itch, and not in a good way.
When I streamed last night, I streamed on StreamYard.
It's getting to the point where it is kind of annoying me, and I will make OBS work, because I actually really do like the way it streams from OBS. But once this week is done and I'm not streaming as much and I've got more time to dedicate to figuring out OBS, I will be trying to figure out OBS so I can start streaming from that. This week is just not the right week for that, and Restream is a temporary source to work instead.
Okay, so I just shared a link to Amazon, her book Brood Awakening.
Okay.
It's 170 pages. It's published a couple
years You're saying Brood Awakening?
Yes.
As in coffee. I was here, Brood, R-U-D-E.
Oh, Brood Awakening, and her last name is Coffee. I thought that's a perfect mix.
I was trying to figure out where you get a perfect mix from. I was like, how is that a perfect mix? How is Brood, R-U-D-E, such a perfect mix for coffee as a last name? And I'm just like, I don't get it. I get it now. I get it.
Okay. But then
I was just not going to say anything, thinking it was just me, and it was just me.
And then she has another one called Introducing Envy. It's a K-pop one. Has nothing to do with drinking coffee, though. And then she has another one called Sakura Dreams. It's on pre-order.
I know it's one
Going.
that's going out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that is. Look at that.
Talk versions. It says pre-order now, releasing March 28th.
Cool.
Nice. Okay. And Beth shared a link as well. I think this is an author page link. Yes. Okay. Nice. All of the linkies. All right. So let's do another sprint.
Okay.
I paused Nixie a while back, so we're going to go ahead and unpause her and do all the things. So, second sprint of the night. Here is our second prompt for anyone who wants to write but doesn't know what they want to write. And this one says, I never meant to come between you two. I only wanted to be your friend. I've always admired your relationship with each other and never thought in a million years that I'd be the reason it came to an end. So, 25 minutes on the clock, starting in 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, that is time, everyone. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. How'd you do?
I'm suddenly very tired, but I got things accomplished. I'm just about done wrapping up chapter 10. There it is, chapter 10. Um, and then I think on my next sprint, I'm going to be able to just finish it up and then start on chapter 11, which is taking a brainstorming session of me saying that this is what they're going to say back and forth, just in a, like jumbling, and then just taking it and forming into an actual formatted conversation back and forth. It's kind of like a note, like, okay, this, she's gonna say this, he's gonna say that, she's gonna say this, and then they'll react this way. I just gotta actually make it as though you would be reading it, not me brainstorming it on page. It's very quiet here. Jesse's in the bedroom on his computer, not next to me on the couch, so I don't have him here in my ear. It's so quiet. Do you notice a no Warframe going on in the background?
I did notice that. I have to have music playing on the background when I'm writing because of the fact that it's with everyone asleep and Justin at work, it is too quiet here. And I'm just like, even the dogs until like 4 minutes before the sprint ended were sleeping, and they woke up and decided they wanted to go outside, which is why I disappeared for a little bit.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
I could let them out. But during that sprint, I wrote 828 words, so I can't complain. Even with getting up and letting them out, I got a lot of stuff done.
Yay.
To be fair, though, a lot of what I'm writing right now is stuff that I already had, for the most part, written. I'm just fleshing out and polishing it up a little bit more. So it's fine. Let's see. Beth headed to bed, which I don't blame them. That's fine.
Right.
And then Heather popped in. Hello, Heather. Heather is fighting with draft of the Dragon novella as the requirements of romance and pairing has been added.
Yes, she meant pairing, but I read it as parring.
Okay.
Because I can't read typo apparently at midnight. It's a daytime skill, apparently.
It's a daytime skill.
Yes.
That's okay. But that's not bad. Is this the same Dragon novella you were working on the last 7-day book challenge, Heather, out of curiosity, or is this a different one?
And to be fair, it's, when she says the same, it's not like it was that long ago. It's only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, for anyone watching this after the fact. Oh, I'm just saying, like, for anyone watching this and it's like, were you still working on it?
I mean, I'm working on the same project, so I can't say anything.
I've been working on this project all year, so. Ooh, what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
IBC root beer, the best root beer that exists.
Yes, that is good root beer.
And let's face it, the only beer I'll actually drink is root beer. I do not like the taste of beer. I'm a wine and whiskey girl. Not together.
No, not together.
Not together. Yes, this is the same project. Okay. How close are you to finishing it?
Like,
I have no idea.
Will you finish it before the 4th of July? Is that like a...
I'm not gonna lie, with between streaming twice a day, I am really hoping I will actually get this finished before the end of this week. Like, that is my goal. I would like to finish this novella before the end of the week.
All right, so 11 through... All right, so I have chapters 11 through 17. So that's 8 chapters, right? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, no, 7 chapters. I can count. It's fine. I could do that.
This story has 10 chapters, according to my outline.
So I have empty files. I have like 15 or 20 empty files on my computer, and they all have like placeholder text, and I usually like copy the last chapter over and over again, like placeholding text, until there's 27 chapters.
Okay.
Has any of my books ever been 27 chapters in its original format before I combine things? No, they have not, but it's there. So I don't have to worry about formatting the margins and stuff. Oh, wait, I was going to ask you and anyone else in the chat, when you publish your paperbacks, what is your preferred size when you publish your paperbacks? For example, I tend to use like 5 1/4 by 8 paperback, which is, here's comparison. Here's the mass
paperback, mass market paperback.
Yes, there's that. And this is the size I typically use, which is the 5 1/4 by 8.
I don't have any paperbacks out yet, but
when you do, paperback,
I want 5.5 by 8.5. That's the size I'm going for. That one was the one that was available on both KDP and Ingram Spark, and I was planning on publishing with both. So what I did is I was comparing sizes on both to see what was available, so that no matter which one I went with, or if I went with both, they would be the same size.
That makes sense.
And that was the one I liked.
This other one that I just got in the mail is a 6x9, and that one I published through Drop to Digital. They started doing paperbacks, and I'm pretty sure they use the same printing place as Ingram Sparks. I think
they do.
So that makes sense. I'm like,
I
have to resize everything.
I do plan on doing 6x9s when I have like omnibuses of like multiple stories in one.
To save on printing costs.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, comments came through. Let's see. I got told that it had to have a romance and must only be an effort. What? Why? Is this okay? Yeah, hold on. Why? Before I start jumping down someone's throats.
Is it someone's is it contracted? Is it what's the who do we need to talk to? That's all I want to know.
Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Need to be handed in by June 25th for the anthology. It's because it's being posted in an anthology. Okay. I was about to get mad. It's because it's going to be in an anthology. There's probably requirements for the anthology.
Right.
Going to beta readers in April, and Heather says their preferred size is 5x8. Interesting.
Just a little smaller than this. This is a 5 1/4 by 8.
I think I tried. So I have a couple of different proofs where I was trying to see what some of my books would look like in various sizes. Mm-hmm. And I think I have one that is 5x8 and one that's 5.25 by 8. Or maybe I have one that's 5.25 by 8 and one that's 5.5 by 8. I don't remember.
Here's my technical way of how I decided. I picked up a stack of books from my bookshelf that I own. Mm-hmm. And the majority of my books were this size, and I measured it, and there you go. That's a super technical way.
Hey, you at least went by and measured it. I went onto Amazon and looked at the dimensions on Amazon for some of the books that were on my shelf. It's like I pulled a bunch of books off my shelf, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, I like the size of this one. Let's go onto Amazon and see what size it is."
Or sometimes I'll be like, I really like the size of this book. I wonder what size this is. You know what? I'm gonna see. Okay. It's barely smaller, so it's probably
That's probably
Five.
a 5 by
5
8.
by 8. Yeah. I really like her cover. Anyways, so I'll be like, I really like that cover, or I like the book. I'll be like, ooh, I like the way, like this one doesn't have the name of the author or the title at the top of the book, but some do, like at the top of the page. Or a way like, I really like, how does this person do her chapters? It's just a 14. How does that other person do the chapters? You know, I wish every freaking book would have in the copyright page the font. What is the font that they use for the freaking book? I want to know what a font is for every single book I ever read.
I can tell you this: I do not have the font listed in my books either. Sorry.
I don't, but I want everyone else to tell me.
To be fair, I think all of mine are Baskerville. I like the way Baskerville looks. I think that's
I've
what mine.
done Palatino linotype. Did that for a while. I've done Arial.
I do not like the look of it.
Actually, I don't know. What do I? I'm curious to know what my font is. I don't remember. Let's see.
Yep, Baskerville. I have mine in Baskerville.
Okay. That's not right.
Oh.
Where am I? Oh, wait.
Heather agrees.
That's
Making
right.
Omnibus 6x9.
I have
once the series complete.
a whole. You like Baskerville? So you like best?
Yep. It just looks neat and it looks clean, if that makes sense. I can't really explain it.
Let's see. Come on. I know you can show me.
Heather is
Work a little
judicious
faster,
with Times New
computer.
Roman.
The last few, with 2 different anthologies I just submitted to, they put it in Times New Roman.
Yeah, for submitting manuscripts,
like
yes, Times New Roman. I'm talking about the final published print.
Oh, okay. I remember
if
now.
I'm submitting like a manuscript to someone,
I did serif. It's one of the serif fonts. It's okay.
I'll have to look that one up.
Wasn't my favorite.
It's not what I wanted. Go away.
I haven't decided which one. Use the same. I probably use the same font for all of them. Change it from book to book. Weird.
Deja Vu serif isn't bad.
Deja Vu. Yeah. I didn't Arial. I didn't like that one. I don't like Times New Roman. Is like reading a textbook. Yeah. I did like the font you used because I was reading Puck's Choice on the ebook, and whatever it came loaded with, I really liked that font. Because you know when you get it, is that what it is, Baskerville?
Mm-hmm. If I could do the font I really like with printing, it would be, I think it's called Bookman Old Style. It's no longer, it used to be one of the standard fonts on like Microsoft Word, and it's no longer available as a standard font. You have to download it from one of the font sites. I want to say it's called it's either Old Style Bookman or Bookman Old Style or something with those 3 words mashed together. It's not even on my computer now that I'm actually looking for it. It's not even on it. But I want to say it's called Bookman Old Style. There's been another font that's replaced it that looks exactly the same. It just has a different name. But there's slight differences that with the kerning, don't ask me what that means, that I cannot I can tell the difference, but I can't name what that difference is, if that makes sense.
You said Bookman Old Style?
Yep, Bookman Old Style.
It's on Microsoft Word.
Cool.
It just if you have Microsoft Word, it's on there. Like I didn't have to download it. I just looked right now.
I had to download it.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's not on Scrivener,
Um,
which is what I use for writing. I use Scrivener for writing.
So I don't remember me telling you if you remember me telling you this, but like a while back I said that I was using Scrivener, but whenever I typed on Scrivener, like the line of text would overlap each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to spend like an hour each time just reformatting it every single time. And I hated it and I don't know what's wrong, and nothing ever saves. And I go to open it the other day and everything's working perfectly freaking fine. I didn't do anything different. Whatever. Kind of like when I'm like, Jesse, come fix my computer. And then he comes and he's like, what's wrong? Nothing. You looked at it. It's fine now. You didn't have to touch it. You were just in the vicinity.
I just needed you to look at it for 5 seconds to make it behave. That's it. That's all I needed.
So I haven't, I've just typed stuff in Scrivener, but when it's come to me exporting it out,
Mhm.
I have an issue with the way it's exported it. So like at the end of every single line, there's like a space with like a blue shadow. Every time I have a return in Scrivener, when it's into like the Word document or whatever, when I export it, it has that, and I have to go through and like erase it, like delete every single one. I don't know.
That is weird. Maybe it's because I just started with a blank document and created my own template, and then I use that template for everything. And then what do I do when I export it? Hold on.
See,
I
I don't even know how to
compile it-
make a template. I probably should do that. I use their like novel template that they have.
Yeah, I don't. I started with the blank document, and when I say template, I don't make any changes to like the file itself, other than the font and the paragraph setting. I mean, like the folders. So like I have folders created under the research section. I created from the blank document. I created folders for characters, plot dump, setting, and cuts, like deleted words. And that's it.
Okay.
That's all I've changed. And then I added up to 10 chapters, knowing the fact that I could add more or delete them as I needed. But most of my stories have 10 chapters.
Okay. So it's just a blank document, and then you just fix the paragraph spacing. So,
yeah.
Do you put a space in between your paragraphs?
Nope.
Like no space in between your paragraphs.
Nope.
And I use I think it's 1.15 spacing in between. You know, there's like single space, double space. I think it's 1.15. So
Okay.
there's a little bit of space in between the words or in between the lines.
I have it so that there is indentation on my paragraphs, which is why I don't put the space in between the lines.
That makes sense.
And then when I compile it, let's see. I don't compile it to, gosh dang it, that's in the way. Hold on. I compile it using default versus like manuscript. And I think that's where the formatting difference comes in too, because I do not format with Scrivener at all. Beyond setting it up with like the paragraph and font. That's it. That's all I do. Okay. I don't care about page setup. I don't care about any of that. And then when I compile it, I just use the default, and under the compile for, I choose the Microsoft 97 to 2004, so the .doc instead of the .docx.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that. I'll probably try it with my next new draft that I do instead of starting from the middle.
Yeah. Now I feel like I need to include that on this week's vlog. So I might make a video clip where I talk about creating my template from a blank document.
Yeah, because I've always done like the novel template that they have.
Yep. Nope. I have not once used their novel template. I opened up that novel template and there was so much stuff included that I was like, nope, this is too much. Can't do it. Brain automatically shut off.
I do like the corkboard feature in Scrivener, where like you could essentially do like write down a sentence for each index card on the corkboard and then move it around if you wanted to.
I do that.
So I do like that. I actually used it on like my second or third book of my first trilogy that's unpublished now, just because it was like my timeline story. So I was like trying to rearrange chapters so that I like that port being able to move things around.
Yep. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Let's do another sprint. Sound good?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. All right. So this is sprint number 3, I believe. Yes, 3. And the cat's already ready to go because I have had her pause for a bit. Prompt number 3 for anyone who wants to write but doesn't know what they want to write. Here's hopefully some inspiration. It says, I know you've only just come back to town. I know you and your family don't talk these days, but I thought you should know your mother passed away last summer. So, there was something that annoyed me. Give me a second. There it is. Aha. I literally changed the fact that there was a space missing. That's all I changed. Anyways, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. that is time. Let me know what you did, how you did in the comments. What about you? How'd you do?
I I combined what I had drafted up and outlined for the rest of my chapters that were in my Google Doc and merged it with my Word document that's all formatted with the correct margins and all that. When I work in Word, it catches more of my grammar mistakes than when I work in Google Docs. And I like the first 5 chapters, Google Docs is fine, but once I get past that, it starts to lag, like playing catch up and saving it or whatnot. And I finally got my OneDrive to work on my computer. It wasn't automatically doing this. It would like automatically save. Like Microsoft Word has a feature where it just automatically every time you type something, it saves it. But for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me sign in. And then when I tried signing in, it wanted to sign underneath Jesse's account. I didn't want to have access to all of his work stuff for his stuff. But suddenly, the same date that Scrivener started working, Microsoft Word started working. I'm not quenching it. It's fine. So it's all in there, and it's all because I have it pre-formatted for like the 5.5 by 8 size page, which works for the paperback. It doesn't really matter for an ebook, really, in the long run. So that's what I did.
I wrote 943 words. I'm almost near the end of the chapter. I will actually probably complete this chapter and I will definitely complete this chapter on the next sprint, but I will probably be like done for the night. And I'm thinking to myself, if I can complete 1 chapter per stream,
Woohoo.
will it happen? Probably
Right.
not, but that would be cool. Because I do have 10 chapters to do.
If you did, oh, that's right, and you're doing like more streams than that.
I think I'm doing 10 streams, not including the sweet treat stream.
Gotcha. Oh, I also Googled fonts to use in your book. Whatever, you know.
So yeah, lots of words getting done, and I'm happy with that.
So on Reedsy, I found an article. It's like the top 10 most common book fonts to use in your paperback. The first one is Garamond, and then the next one is Caslon. I've never even heard of that one. It's not even available in my Word choices. But then choice number 3 is Baskerville, which is what you said you use, right? And then number 4 is Saban or Saban. Dante is next. Bembo. I think they're making these names up. Jansen, Bison, and Captain Comic for like comic books or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
Those are the ones. I've used Garamond before. I like that one.
Garamond's a good one.
So I did fonting choices.
Interesting. Heather had to go get Dragon from school and wished us luck. So have a good night, Heather, or a good day, I should say. If you're getting Dragon from school, it's day there. And then Angel popped in. Hello. Oh, this is a long chapter.
And then yeah, so it's only I think my book's gonna be like 17 chapters.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. I'll let you know what really happens later, but that's what I'm thinking.
If every chapter is as long as this chapter is, which I don't know if it will be or not, but if they are, this story is going to be about 30,000 words long.
Okay.
Which is on par for one of my novellas, so that's like perfect. So, hopefully it's no longer.
No longer than 30?
No longer than 30. But we shall see. We shall see.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how many words this is so far.
You look confused.
I just gotta find where stuff is on Microsoft Word. It's not the same spot as in Google Docs. Right, I got it. We found it. So far, I've written 12,000 words. And that's in chapters.
Okay.
So I try to keep my chapters in round for the page. Like no more than 6 seconds. And I need to get that boost myself. Editing, like, oh my gosh, this chapter is so long. I'm just surprised I did this. So I said, you know what? If I'm annoyed reading it, we're both going to be annoyed reading it. So I said 2,500 words is good. That's how I keep with that.
I'm already at the 2,500 word mark for this chapter, but I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 paragraphs to tighten up, finish, polish, and drop in this chapter. So it'll be less than 3,000. And as long as my chapters are between 1,000 and 3,000 words long, that's usually what I do, depending on the story. I do tend to like my chapters all being roughly around the same word count. So that's where I get the total word count from. Because generally speaking, all my chapters are about the same length, no matter what that length is. It just varies from project to project.
Okay.
Because I think the short story series, all the chapters are about 1,500 1,500 words long. And again, 10 chapters, just shorter. So, all right, we ready to do the last and final sprint of the evening?
Yes.
All right, last sprint for the evening. Then we're gonna wrap up and go our separate ways. 25 minutes on the clock. Here is our last prompt for anyone who wants to write but doesn't know what they want to write about. And it says, I don't know why, since you're the bane of my existence and the entire reason I need migraine medicine daily, but for some reason I'm attracted to you.
That's hilarious.
That's an enemies to lovers if I ever saw one. Anyways,
Right?
here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time, and that was the last sprint. How did everyone do?
I finished one chapter, the last paragraph thing, and then I'm halfway done with the next one. So I'm making progress.
Woo!
I'm not really doing word count right now because it's weird because in the document I already have like the summaries and stuff, so it's messing with the word count because I'm taking away some words as I'm writing it and putting it, and I haven't bothered keeping track. But I'm moving along.
Whew, excuse me. I finished that chapter that I wanted to finish, and I went ahead and did a video clip that is 4 minutes long where I discussed the formatting of my Scrivener document and then how I created it so that anyone else could do the same, basically.
Yay!
And then I started on the next chapter because even though I said I wasn't going to, I was like, I'm not going to sit here for like 15 minutes and do nothing. So I got a total of 517 words despite finishing one chapter and starting another.
Yay! That reminds me, I need to do a clip for today. So I was going to do like a weekend vlog, and then I was going to do a fresh 7-day challenge vlog.
Okay.
Well, I filmed Saturday and Sunday and did not upload it. So I'm like, you know what? I was sitting there. I said in my video, I said, hey, today's Monday, and this would have been the intro, but now it's not because you saw the other stuff because I don't want to not use it, you know? So I'm doing what I did. I'll have like weekend, and then I had like Monday, like a picture, like it's a blue screen that says Monday, and then stuff. What did I do today? I did take a picture and a quick video of Ileana shelving library books after we were done doing the volunteer training today. So, yeah,
Nice.
it'll be a long vlog, but that's okay. I think I'll probably upload it before the weekend, because
Okay.
that might be a really long one. Unless it's I keep on forgetting to film clips, then it's going to be super short. Who knows?
Nobody knows how long the vlog will be.
I don't know. Don't know.
My vlogs are as long as they need to be, which these days seems to be longer because I talk a ton. Because that clip that I just filmed was like 4-ish minutes long. And then I filmed the intro clip where I talked about my goals for this week and all the things I wanted to do this week. And that was about 4 minutes long. Sorry, that's like 8 minutes just for day one.
So last week, one of my recent vlogs where I was sitting here and I was typing. Oh, when I did my voiceover, I was talking about a flash of brilliance coming to me, and that clip was 6.5 minutes long. Not me talking, but the clip that I filmed myself in, because I put it up here in the corner on top of my books, and I kind of just ignore it.
Okay.
Because I don't know how people film themselves like typing without them looking constantly at the camera all the time. So if I just put it out of my line of sight and I can't see it, then not always like looks more natural. I don't know. That's the only time I like stage myself. Yeah, sure. The kids thought it was hilarious listening to me do the voiceovers. I re-recorded it a few times because they're like, "Mom, that's so silly. Why would you say it that way?" Like, I don't know.
That's funny.
But I know I'm making some progress. Do you work tomorrow?
Nope, I'm
Later
off all
today?
this week.
Well, I don't have it scheduled, but I think I have it in my Google Calendar where I think I'm going to do morning streams before your streams.
Okay.
For the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, at like 7:15. And this is my train of thought. Like 7:15 my time to 9:15 my time. Because then if I'm talking loudly, then I won't care if I wake up the kids because they should be getting up anyway for schoolwork. Then by 9:15 they at least go to sleep. fed themselves, and then my brain will be awake and I can focus on doing what I need to do with them for schoolwork. And I have a stupid new Zoom meeting tomorrow at 2. Blech. That's my plan. I've been waking up around 7 anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so like Saturday night was the first time that I went to sleep. Usually I'll stream with you Saturday night and I just stay up and then I go to church. So I was like, oh, I can actually sleep. Because we're not streaming this Saturday. We got, I think, next 3 streams from 7:15 to 9. That's a good 2 hours.
Okay.
Yes. Because then you were on at 11, my time.
Yep. Yeah, and the reason I scheduled mine for 10 was because I didn't know if we'd have the vehicle back. And if we don't have a vehicle, I have to walk the kids down to the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to give myself plenty of time to get back
and
take
recover.
A breather. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but we got the vehicle back, so it won't take that long. But even so, I'm leaving my streams where they are.
I like how yours are exactly 12 hours apart. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter, 11 a.m., 11 p.m., or 10 a.m., 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice.
Yep.
Because tomorrow, we have schoolwork. Then at 2:00, it says it's an hour and a half meeting. I sure as hell hope not. That's all I'm saying. It has to do with Hannah. So, the whole care, blah, blah, blah. It's a long meeting. I hope it's not for an hour and a half. And what's stupid is I'm usually just there and I say I'm here and then that's it. I never talk ever. I'm like, you could just tell me all this in the email, but it's fine.
I love meetings like that.
And
they're
then
great.
Wednesday, I don't have to go anywhere or do anything until 4. I think we're going to leave the house around 4.
Wednesday evening, we have archery cleanup. I'm planning on doing some laundry, but this all should happen well before 10 o'clock.
Maybe there's more. It seems like there's something else I'm missing. Always missing something. Okay.
The only 2 things that I have is archery cleanup with the youngest, and then the oldest is driving. Nope, the oldest is not driving this weekend because it's next weekend that she's driving.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have anything to do until 4. We're going to leave the house around 3:34. And then Thursday, I don't have to do anything until the same time, 4:30. Oh, and Friday, I have nothing scheduled at all. No schoolwork, no nothing. Because I tell the kids that if they do there's enough schoolwork during the week, we don't have to do schoolwork on Fridays.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't want to do schoolwork every day.
I mean, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, we just for a while we weren't doing schoolwork on Mondays because that was the day that Ileana had 2 hour-long therapy stuff back to back, and that was just a headache in itself. Not the therapy, just there's a lot of brain work, so it was therapy day, so we didn't do any schoolwork really. But now we don't do it on Fridays. And I think that's a good.
Fair.
It's fair.
Fair.
Now, if they slack off and do nothing during the week, then I'm okay, guess what? We're doing schoolwork today.
Should have slacked off.
As in, if you take 2 hours to do your math assignment when you're only doing 5 problems, Jackson, then yeah, we're going to do schoolwork on Friday.
But Mom, it really does take me 2 hours to do 5 problems. Gosh.
Or when my favorite is when Ileana was doing this history book where it would have a short answer based on the reading, and it's what is the reason? Explain this, and what is the reason? And she actually said because blah 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 blah, the words blah 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 blah. So I wasn't checking her work after every single day that she did it. I would do like at the end of the week, I would check it after like 3 or 4 days worth
Mm-hmm.
because it was kind of self-correcting because it would have like a couple pages of reading and then it would have multiple choice question and then it would say which okay, let's say she circled letter C, she would put C and then what sentence or sentences from the reading supported your answer because every single sentence was numbered with a tiny superscript, you know, like little, and so if you go back and you select the sentences, it's a way to see if you're right or not. Because if you say it's option C and you go to the page where you think it would be, and you're reading through it to see what sentences you would select, a lot of times, oh wait, that's not right. It's actually this answer. So um, she liked it. I didn't like it because it skipped over some key parts in history.
Okay.
Like it didn't talk at all about World War II. Didn't talk at all about Nazi Germany or Anne Frank or Hitler or any of that stuff.
Okay.
Even though it was world history.
Okay.
So she's like, Mom, they didn't talk about this or the atomic atom bomb or Japan or Pearl Harbor or this. I'm like, okay. So then, you know, at that point, she was like going into ninth grade, but was getting ready to do like 11th grade history type stuff, like government stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go back and start at the beginning, like ninth grade year beginning of history. We're going to pick one particular curriculum and we're going to follow it all 4 years. Because
Okay.
sometimes if you like do curriculum A for ninth grade history, like whatever, and then in 10th grade you go to a different curriculum, sometimes they don't all teach the same thing in the same order.
Yeah.
So so that's what we're doing. And so what she's doing for ninth grade history, she's doing cultural geography. So kind of
Okay.
like geography of how people live in different parts of the country. This first chapter is a little different. It's talking about the way the land is formed and plate tectonics and volcanoes and things of that nature. So she said she's learning something new. It's not totally boring. I said, okay, good. Learning something new is better than being like, this is boring and I'll review.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I'm going to do 7:15. I haven't decided what time I'm going to stream on Friday.
Okay. Fair enough.
It might be in the afternoon so I can sleep in a little bit. We'll see.
Fair enough. I don't blame you for that. Excuse me. All right. Well, it is almost 1 o'clock my time. We have been streaming for almost 3 hours. We have done 4 sprints and lots of chatting.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very good with what I've accomplished today.
I like what I've accomplished. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I am starting to get very tired.
Same.
So
I think I'm going to just get off. Yeah, I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah. I am probably... I was going to try to stay awake until my husband gets home because he should be getting off work in another hour or so. But something tells me I'll be asleep before he ever gets home. That's okay. But anyways, go ahead and do your outro if you want to.
Great. For anyone that's still here after almost 3 hours, my name is Stephanie. I write primarily small town romance underneath Stephanie Marie Whitson. As far as being on YouTube, I make blogs. I talk about reading, writing, and everything and anything in between. And I, along with Skye and probably a few other people in the audience here, is participating in the 7-day book challenge, and I'm well on my way to completing that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. All right, and thank you all for joining us tonight. For those who are new here, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name of Hegyes, and this is the conclusion of day 1 of the 7-day book challenge. Got 4 more days of streaming to go on my end, where I'm doing 2 streams a day. And Stephanie was just talking about her schedule so far. It's work in progress, but we're getting there. And then on Saturday and Sunday is the AuthorTube Sweet Treat stream crawl, which we are both participating in. So we both have streams, and I don't remember if I have a link to that in the description. I'll make sure I add that for anyone who's interested in that. I typically live stream on Saturday evenings at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. However, this Saturday, because of the stream crawl marathon, I will not be streaming at my usual time. My time has changed, and it's actually Sunday morning at like 1 a.m. my time, which is Mountain. And then I
Although-
typically,
Yeah, 1 o'clock. I was looking at the sheet. I can't do math. You're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
and then I typically post videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But this week, because of live streaming so much, there's not going to be any videos this week. It's just live streams, all the time. So
Yeah. Somehow I got plugged into the time that you usually do it. Like for on Saturday. Like my time is at, well, no, it's 11:30 to 2:30 Eastern time.
Yeah.
Because I did the 3 hours right before you.
It's
Well,
because when she first asked for like volunteers for different times, she gave us a choice of like 3 different slots, and that was the slot I got plugged into.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. So,
Are you going to participate in all the streams?
I'm going to try to participate in as many as I can.
Like, are you going to be in the comments at all? Like on every stream? Yeah.
I'm going to try to participate in as many as I can. I'm not going to be on camera for any of the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe yours if you want company, but I'm not even positive about that. Like, ask me day of.
Right.
Ask me day of, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm streaming by myself, so I mean, if you want to jump on, be my guest, that'd be totally great. Part of it, all of it. Although that'd be 6 hours. It's good practice.
For a thing we haven't discussed, like outside of stream much at all.
We keep on saying we're gonna. We keep on saying
because I want to get through this first. After we finish this week, then we can talk about it. Give me till the end of March, please. I can only concentrate on so many things at one time.
That is true.
The 31st is a Monday, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, because the 29th and 30th is when the Sweet Treat Marathon is, and that is the last day of the Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, 31st is Monday. All right, that's when we'll discuss it more. Is on Monday. Anyways.
You mean after we fried our brain from streaming all week? That is perfect, because that's when we get our best ideas, right?
Oh,
everybody. God. Yes.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and click the button so we can end this stream, and we will see you all bright and early. In my case, tomorrow. You too. Bright and early tomorrow morning. Yes. Woo! Let's do it. All right. Have a good night, everyone.